Talk to us about how the last 1 year has been for you. Clearly, a lot of digitization happening in the country. Companies such as yours also undertaking that in full speed, and you have actually seen the benefit of that. Talk to us about, has this product become a pull product from a push product in the last 1 year?
Yeah, Desh, it has been actually a time when the customer has seen the need to cover their risks, and hence, life insurance and insurance in general has been growing. The sector actually has had a good growth till now, at least of Q4 looking quite good. We in particular have had a pretty good growth, so we've grown by about 20%. So this has been quite good. We've seen that term products and guaranteed based products are particularly top of mind for the customer today because of the risk perception. Very clearly, they don't want to take too many risks. But I must say that this is how it currently looks, but this is not how we started, because we were really worried initially when the lockdown happened, and insurance being largely a face-to-face product, where you normally meet the customer, we talk to the customer in detail. A meeting usually goes 30 minutes, sometimes even an hour, and then over face-to-face meetings and physical forms, all these sales are happening. But thanks to the fact that the digital adoption has been quite good, and the coming in of phygital, so part physical and part digital, has particularly helped the sector, get momentum in this year as well.
Right. Taran, talk to us about how exactly is the company going forward now? What's the strategy, especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities where adoption on the digital front is improving with each passing year? The role of your agents as well, and moreover, the how life insurance becoming a very important and critical part of everybody's life. That awareness level has also improved quite a lot in the last 1 year or so. Surely it was triggered by unfortunate pandemic, but otherwise too. Tell us, how are you taking all of that into account and growing business?
Yeah, those are questions we are always working with all the time. So you asked me quite a few things. Let me just start with tier 2 and tier 3 and some segments which weren't expected earlier to pick up on digital. So what we have seen is actually tier 2s, possibly tier 2 cities have, and the state capitals particularly, have had the fastest growth and takeoff of digital. Tier 3 as well, it has been quite a good growth, but it's been in line with tier 1 in terms of if you look at the percentage growth. But truly what has surprised us is the age 55 and above. We've seen not just increase of product uptake, but also digital uptake. So whether it's been service or it's buying products, these segments have particularly done quite well. And honestly, it was, as we call it in the BFSI vertical, it was a TINA effect. There is no alternative. You had to get digital. You had to get on to buying digital. We saw that lead up in the e-commerce world, and that's where we are learning ourselves from. In terms of strategy, hence what we've seen is we put in a lot more money in customer-facing technologies, whether it's servicing or sales. We've seen a huge uptake of use of WhatsApp services, a huge uptake in terms of chatbots, and the usage of the portal, etc. All these numbers are off the charts. So whatever we were expecting, in a roadmap over 3 years, suddenly has happened within 3 months in sheer number of volumes that we've seen, interactions that we've seen, and the uptake has been surprisingly quite high. And maybe now we can say, on hindsight, predictably quite high. I think the other element that has come in part of digital strategy specifically has been the fact that there has been a layer of virtualization, not just digitalization, but virtualization. So like we are meeting across today, similarly, can a customer buy a product? Can the customer buy this product in a very safe environment? Can I meet a customer when I'm physically maybe meeting but 5 meters away, keeping social distancing, 50 meters away, 500 meters away, or maybe sometimes even 5 kilometers away. So this layer of virtualization over all digital assets has been a very key factor in particularly our strategy. So what we've done is we've got all our apps have, instead of just being digital in nature, have become a lot more intuitively digital. So we know we are basically looking at what the customer will want next to press or see on the internet. But also we have made it an app to an HTML kind of possibility, which rarely exists. So on any browser, any place, you can actually see what my app today has. And on a variabilized and a totally virtualized way, you can actually see and buy a product or get serviced in a very secure fashion, because not forget banking and financial services and life insurance specifically, we've got to be very careful about customer data security. And then you asked me about how agents have been taking this on and how they have faced it. So I must say that for agents it's been particularly tough. It's been a really tough year. Initially, we because of face-to-face, we couldn't even understand how they will ever meet customers. But they've had to de-learn, relearn, and we've had to retrain a lot more. So we have this concept of choreography. We call this say training choreography. So every day we would train our advisors and our salespeople early in the morning so that they would learn how to use these digital assets. The kind of FAQs, the frequently asked questions that we've been sharing with our advisors has been quite unique, because in the uptake of this virtual platform has been important for them. How can they, go and talk to you virtually and be able to explain a product, which usually requires a physical paper, requires a physical signature. Now this can be done virtually. So training this has been a very key element. Now, of course, agency is picking up. But initially, I must say that the one big issue that advisors faced was they were not able to get new customer meetings. As in, if you were going and meeting a new customer, the customer would rather not meet. So what we did was we then focused on existing customers of our advisors, and using data analytics, got more ways of profiling customers and pitching the right product, pitching the right service, depending upon the kind of customer. And that has really helped us, because they could go back and upsell something new, because customers are always thinking about it. The other things that advisors have picked up and technologies added weight to this has been telemedicals, because nobody was willing to go to do medicals. So we were able to do telemedicals over the phone. We introduced concepts around video medicals as well. Plus, the regulator has really helped. And today, we can do an eKYC, we can do an e-policy. We need not actually look at a physical policy all the time. Signatures are possible through a secured fashion online. All these things advisors have had to adapt to, and I think they've done a really good job. And now I think we can see the momentum. The first half was a very tough half, but I think the second half is now moving up. In fact, they couldn't even go for trainings, they couldn't even go for recruitment, because you know that every insurance advisor, as per the IRDA mandate, has to go for a 50-hour training under camera. Now that was not possible because the centers were closed and people weren't willing to go and touch things or go to a new place, and they were generally apprehensive. So all these new advisors now, IRDA has allowed us to actually train them at home virtually. So that has been under camera, by the way. So that has gone quite well. So all this digital adoption, and not just one type, but varied kind of digital adoption over the customer journey has been very useful.
All right, Tarun, we'll let you go on that one. Thanks.